Alright, we're going to talk about the distributive property, which is a pretty important property for algebra, and it extends into geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, calculus. It's going to stick with you till the end of your math career. So it's a good one to get down well. And there's multiple ways to do it. We're going to start out with two examples here. So I'm going to write example 1, and then right next to it over here, example 2. And each of these is going to be slightly different. The distributive property has to do with multiplying two things. So I could say, for example 1, I have a parenthesis times something else in a parenthesis. How about like x plus 5 and x plus 2? Or for the second example, I'm just going to make one parenthesis. Maybe I'll put like x plus 7 in here. And then on the outside, maybe a 3 in front of there or something. Both of these need to be solved, and you have more than one strategy. With double parentheses, two of them, I'm going to use a generic rectangle to figure this one out. It's definitely a generic rectangle example. But this one, I'm going to come up with a shortcut. I could use the rectangle. It would be okay. But there's another way I can do it. I can use the property, and it's going to make it easier. So I guess I'll call it a shortcut. It's really the distributive property in action. And so let's kind of compare on this thing. For the rectangle, I'm going to draw my rectangle. These are the sides. X plus 5 can go on the side here, and x plus 2 can go on the bottom. And we'll split this up both directions down the middle. And then remember how we copy the borders? X and 2 also go on the top, and x and 5 also go on the other side. And then I'm going to go corner to corner and multiply these. So 5 times x is 5x. X times x is x squared. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 5 is 10. So we get an answer of x squared plus 2x plus 5x plus 10. It's all the things in that square, which really 2x and 5x go together and make 7x's. So let's combine them and say x squared plus 7x's plus 10, and let's call that our answer. That's our generic rectangle. That's the distributive property. That's one way to do it. But if you don't want to really do the rectangle for this other problem, you could. Some people love the rectangle. Here's how it would look. You would have a smaller one. You would only have 3 on the side and x plus 7 on the bottom, and you'd split it down the middle like this. You'd do 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 7 is 21 to get your answer, which totally works out fine if you like it that way. Or another way that you're going to see common is a lot of math teachers teach kids to do this. Multiply the 3 inside with each of these. This is a little more traditional. Take the 3 and put it with the x and put it with the 7. If you do that, you're going to have 3 times the x, 3 times the 7, and you know how there's a plus sign in the middle here? You copy the plus sign. 3 times x is 3x plus 3 times 7 is 21. So I get an answer of 3x plus 21. Same thing this rectangle gave me. Just a little bit different strategy. So distributive property, if you have two parentheses, we're going to be doing the rectangle most of the time in class. If there's only one parenthesis, you can rectangle, or I find it a little faster to do this method where you just multiply in. So let's look at some more examples that are like this, the shortcut. I'm going to go down to the bottom here and we'll call this example 3. Let's make it a little harder for this one. How about you have a negative 5 on the outside, and inside here you have 2x. How about minus 6? I could build a rectangle, which would probably be just fine, or I can do the shortcut where I arrow it in. So I'm going to draw some arrows here. If you do that, you got to be super careful with all these negative signs, not to get them confused. This is a minus 5. So you're going to do a minus 5 times the 2x. You're also going to have a minus 5 times the 6, but because it's a subtraction sign, you're going to have to put a subtraction sign here. You're going to have the negative 5 and the negative 6. You're going to have two negative signs to keep track of. 5 times 2 is 10, so this is negative 10x. Two negative signs, that's going to be a plus, positive. Two negatives make a positive, and 5 times 6 is 30. So we get an answer of negative 10x plus 30. A little confusing with the double negatives. A lot of people have trouble with that. So how about this? Example 4. Why don't you go ahead and copy it, pause the video and give it a try and see if you kind of have this down. Let's do something different too. Let's change the variable up. How about we do 4 parenthesis 2y minus 8. So go ahead and pause the video, try that one, and then unpause it and see if you got it right. Now I don't know if you tried the rectangle when you did this or if you went for the shortcut, but I'm going to be doing the shortcut. I'm going to draw the arrows in here. I'm going to put the 4 with the 2, so 4 times 2y, and 4 with 8, so 4 times 8. And this problem was a subtracting problem, so I'm going to copy the subtraction sign. And then 4 times 2 is 8y, minus 4 times 8 is 32. And then that's it. That's my answer, 8y minus 32. I'm going to leave it just like that. And that is the distributive property. If you want to see some harder versions, the only thing I can think of that is important right now to kind of practice would be this last example, example 5. The only thing I can think of to make this one a little more complex would be to say, let's put like 2x on the outside and make a parenthesis, and then how about have like 3 things inside of here, like 4x plus 3y plus 5. Still distributive property, we're just kind of getting bigger, adding more things in here. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take the 2x, go inside, but now you're going to do it not just with these 2, but with all 3 of them. So the 2x and the 4x are going to be multiplied. The 2x and the 3y are going to be multiplied. And the 2x and the 5. And each of these was adding, so we're adding. There's no negatives to worry about. So let's just do some math. 2 times 4 is 8. X makes x squared. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Xy is just that, xy. Plus 2 times 5 is 10, and there's an x, so 10x, and we got an answer. 8x squared plus 6xy plus 10x. And that's the distributive